To date, including Sochi, there have been 22 Winter Games. 14 were held in Europe, 6 in the US and Canada, and 2 in Asia. There were no Winter Games in 1940 or 1944 due to World War II. Unlike the Summer Olympics, which are numbered for every Olympiad, whether they're held or not, the Winter Olympics are only numbered when they're actually held. On screen, you will see a list of the host cities for the Olympics going back to Chamonix in 1924. As you look through this list, you can see a wide range of locations, some major cities like Turin and Vancouver, but many small cities and towns that hosted this international event. There are some interesting characteristics to note about this list of Winter Games hosts. 3 cities have hosted the Games twice. It would be Lake Placid, New York in the United States, St. Moritz in Switzerland, and Innsbruck in Austria. One interesting last-minute switch took place in the 70s. Denver was chosen to host the 1976 Winter Olympics, but withdrew in 1973, which meant that the IOC had to find at the last minute another host for the event. In that case, it chose Innsbruck. So Innsbruck's selection for its second Winter Olympics really came about because Denver withdrew from that event. So now let's turn to Sochi, the host for the 22nd Winter Games. Sochi competed against Pyeongchang, Korea, which ultimately won the 2018 Games, and Salzburg, Austria, for the honor of holding the 2014 Winter Olympics. It's a city of more than 300,000 people located on the Black Sea in southern Russia near the border with Georgia. As you can see on this map, you can see the location. It is one of the warmest host cities ever to host the Olympics, and it is known as a summer resort more than a winter resort, although the Winter Olympics could change its foundation and become a global international winter resort. In the second image, which shows a Google Earth image of the location, you can see the 2 areas that are being focused on for this Winter Olympics, the coastal cluster and the mountain cluster. It's important to note that Sochi itself is not the host so much as a location 20 miles southeast of Sochi, where the coastal cluster will be the primary home of this Winter Olympics. Sochi, the host of the 22nd Winter Olympics, is a resort city, but it's also the warmest city ever to host the Winter Games. Frequently, cities face problems with a lack of snow for the Winter Olympics. Vancouver had to postpone and change some of its schedule because of the lack of snow at Cypress Mountain. In order to avoid any problems with snow, Sochi has stockpiled 16 million cubic feet or 450,000 cubic meters of snow on nearby mountains in case it needs to quickly bring extra snow to help provide the appropriate coverage for winter events. Sochi is expected to spend more than $51 billion on the event, which makes it the most expensive Olympics ever held. The Sochi Olympics will draw 2,500 athletes from 88 countries who will participate in 98 events over 15 different sports. The Sochi Olympics start on February 6, but the opening ceremony is on February 7. So one thing for you to look into is, why do the Winter Olympics this time start before they open? Now, the venues for the Sochi Olympics are determined by the Sochi Organizing Committee, and these venues are located in 2 clusters. First, the coastal cluster for ice arena events, and you can see on this graphic how all of the event spaces in the coastal cluster are very conveniently located. It's one of the most conveniently organized collection of venues that the Winter Olympics has experienced in a long time. As I said earlier, frequently venues are chosen from across a wide area, but Sochi has built new venues for all of its ice events, and they are conveniently kept together in one place. There is also a mountain cluster, 48 kilometers or 30 miles from Sochi in the mountains, that is connected by a train system. So there's really 2 main areas where events will be held, connected by a rail system. Interestingly, the rail system that connects them costs more than the entire Vancouver 2010 Winter Olympics. It is a very expensive connection between the two main areas of the host city. In conclusion, we now look forward to the opening ceremony on February 7th at 2014, 8:14 p.m. Sochi time. During the opening ceremonies, we will be tweeting and connecting online through social media as we look forward to exploring with you what is happening as the opening ceremonies take place.